Yeah, well, I mean, it's been a bumpy ride, but a lot of that has to do with forces outside of our control, such as the league stuff that went on in the off season, but also the Caribbean Championship itself and what we had to do to get into a tournament that we qualified for. Well, the goal this week is 100%. We have to win the group. We should win it. We need to win every game in order to assure that we win the group, and therefore go into the finals of the Caribbean tournament, hopefully with a final result that puts us into the Champions League.
The NASL starts this month also, in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
What have been the preparations towards that? What has been the PRFC front office doing towards that?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's been tough to juggle because of the CCC now is 1 week before our season. So from a marketing standpoint and from a general marketing standpoint, it makes it a little more confusing. I find that a lot of people are still adjusting to the soccer world and the fact that you play in 2 tournaments at once and all of that kind of thing. So again, we're trying to be the educator and trying to change the culture and the dynamic a little bit. Certainly you'll see a lot of sort of marketing initiatives this week specific to the Caribbean Championship, and then next week we'll go full bore with the NASL, with preparation and marketing and all of that stuff related to our kickoff on March 25th in the NASL.
Is the NASL considered an international league, or is it considered a local domestic league?
That's a good question. I mean, I think we consider it probably an international league because we're based here in Puerto Rico and we bring that international to it. Don't forget there's a team in Canada as well. So you've got Canada, United States, Puerto Rico. So to that extent, I'd consider it that, although it's based in the United States and 6 of the 8 teams are based in the United States proper. So we think it's going to be a really strong league this year. Obviously, in the future, we need to have more teams in the league, but this year you've got some really strong teams, including a new one that should do quite well out in San Francisco.
Okay. So how would a possible suspension of the federation affect PRFC in relation to the NASL?
Well, I mean, we haven't necessarily considered that very much. Certainly we play in a league that's sanctioned by the United States Soccer Federation and not necessarily the Puerto Rican Federation. So our status as a league is Division II in the United States Soccer Federation. So we would have to sort of petition in that direction. I haven't heard a lot lately about any of that stuff. Obviously, I know of a few things that everyone's heard of regarding FIFA and potential sanctioning. We try and take the we try and do things the right way and say the right things here. As much as we can. We look at the FPF. They should be partners of ours. They should be helping us promote soccer on the island. We think we do that better than anybody does in the 9 months that we've been here. I can't even count how many cities we've been to and clinics we've done all over the island. How many of our players have driven 2, 3, 4 hours to get to clinics. So we look at it as if we're doing all the right things. We'll have to play it by ear as to what might transpire if any of those things happen. I think we heard this last year as well and nothing happened. And we're hearing it again now, and I have no idea whether anything will happen. We have not been given an update from the Federation.
But the difference between last year and this year was in the hands of the General Assembly. This time it's a lawsuit that was filed by a former employee of the Federation in FIFA. So it's a bit different in the sense that one is political and the other one is highly administrative.
Well, it's all political. Anything having to do with international soccer is too political, in my opinion. Even all the way down to the youth level and the grassroots level is political. It's hard for us to get into some youth clubs here because they feel competitive with us and they make their livelihood off it, which I understand. But that's no different from the United States or anywhere else. I could tell you unbelievable stories about some of the discussions I had with clubs out in Southern California. Here we're trying to help build something. I mean, it's way behind compared to Los Angeles, for example, the youth soccer and and any level of soccer. It's a whole different story here. So we look at part of what we need to do is help bring it to the next level. And we're trying to do that. So I am aware of the differences, but I'm not going to get into speculation on the FPF. That's for them to deal with. Certainly we're going to have to keep an eye on it and be prepared as best as we can. We feel like we have enough on our behind us, and it was just sort of proven by the everything that transpired with the NASL in the off season, what can be done when the right people put their minds to it. So I think we'd be safe, honestly. I don't see why our NASL sanctioning or any of that stuff would have anything to do with whatever that situation is between one person, by the way. That the one who's, the lawsuit's from a person, and I'm not sure he can necessarily cause the federation those kind of sanctions. Then again, if FIFA comes out and says, federation, you have to do X, Y, and Z, then they better do X, Y, and Z.
What would your recommendation be for the federation to improve itself administratively, economically, as a person that has been working in international football around the world?
Well, less politics would be one. I mean, for me, I'm not a political, for me, the only thing I care about is getting the job done. For Puerto Rico FC, for the LA Galaxy, wherever I've ever been, it's not about whether I look good with some other group or whether they love me or whether they're going to support me in the next election or any of that shit. Honestly, I think the federation or anyone involved in soccer here need to be looking out for the sport of soccer here on the island, and that includes the youth player, and includes the professional league that's here, and includes our team. Our team is the Pied Piper. We're the ones out promoting Puerto Rican soccer. We're the ones hosting this tournament this weekend and going to spend a lot of money to do it. So we think we're doing all the right things. I'm not going to tell anyone else how to do their business. I don't fully understand the machinations of the politics and the executive committee, and awful lot of people seem to be involved in soccer at the FPF level or the pro level here in Puerto Rico, and it seems like a lot to me a lot of times. For a small island with really one professional team at the level that we're at, seems to be a lot going on around the federation and soccer in general, more than I'm used to in an area that had 20 million people in Southern California.
Final question. Do you expect for Puerto Rico FC to have at least its first playoff appearance this year?
Yeah, I mean, I have no interest in doing this if that's not what we're gonna aspire to. There's only 8 teams in the league. In theory, 4 of them can make the playoffs. Well, 4 of them will make the playoffs. So why not us? There's a team in their first league, their first year. There's another team that's sort of being run by the league. There's, when you look at it that way. Having said that, it's really hard to tell where we are right now. We've been playing in a tournament, which has been great, the Bayamon Cup, but we won most of the games pretty easily. The last game was much tougher, although we probably had 30 shots in the game. Those games, as important as they are, and as much as we like to do them to help promote the sport and help elevate the level here, it's tough to tell where you stand when you're going to be playing the Cosmos in a week. So the CCC tournament will really help. Playing good teams and playing a team from Jamaica, obviously, it's got a really good history and a really good background, and they're going to have good players. And playing the other teams that have done well and have qualified for this tournament the same way that we have. So, listen, we've got to come out. We got to come out strong this year. We cannot have a start like we did last year. It hurt us. Obviously on the field, it hurt us off the field. I mean, I heard from a lot of people that we didn't come to the games after the first few because you weren't playing well and you weren't winning.
Well, that happens here a lot.
Yeah, that's what I hear.
If you don't win, they don't go to the.
I find that interesting here in particular, where you don't have pro teams. In New York, I could go to 2 MLS teams. So I find that an interesting way to look at things. But in the early years. Normally, I'd say just get better in the second year, but with the amount of teams we have in our league, and we should absolutely be planning on making the playoffs.